so it's more of like we've planned our mindset that we want to be in when we come back, you know,
Right.
if that makes sense. So we've both agreed on like we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to change this, we're going to focus more on this area or these places that we want to work. You know, and like a big part for me is coming back. Like I was saying this the other day to someone on the phone. They were saying about, oh, you know, people are getting in crazy shape, but why? We don't know when wrestling's back. And I said, I truly believe it will be one of those. It can be back. Like, just say they go, oh, you know, it's not, but let's just say, oh, you know, you can do events you can start doing events. I would give it 2-3 weeks before there's shows again. Like, literally, as soon as they give us the go ahead, I give it a couple of weeks and there'll be shows. So you don't want to come back. No one wants to come back worse. Obviously, everyone will have ring rust, but you know, everyone's going to be coming back. So if you can have an edge on everyone, on some people, you know, if you come back in better shape than people, if you come back, you know, sort of ready to go, I'm sure there are going to be people come back, think they're going to be fine, jump in the ring, get gassed really quickly because they're not used to it. Like, you forget how just doing reps helps. You know, if you do like 50 press ups every day, and then for a month, and then take a month off, when you go back to doing them, in your head you probably think, oh, I can do this with ease, but you won't be able to. Like, you build up stamina and everything like that. So, and also even like watching matches back, I've watched back my last match before lockdown maybe like 10 times, and just tried like it was. I'm so happy it was that one as well, because it was like a big build to it, and it was not. I'm happy it wasn't just like a random match that was just like a, you know, just you have them all the time. It's just a match. So this was like an end of the big thing, and it was the show itself was one of the shows I really wanted to get on. It was actually like one of the only specific things in my goals for this year was get on the big World War Wrestling show.
Right. Yeah.
And we did that.
That makes sense. It's I think a lot of wrestlers on seem to think back by the end of the year at least, but I think it just depends, because it depends what the rules will be like with the crowd coming in, and does there have to be distancing? Like, is there going to be a limit on the amount of people and stuff around that? And then also, I would imagine even people in general will be a little bit hesitant to go straight into something, even though there'll be a thirst for it. I would imagine some people will still be a little bit like concerned about going to sort of big group gatherings and stuff like that to begin with. So it's kind of one of those things. Like, where do you stand with doing like events with no crowd on like a UK independent scene? Do you kind of for that, or are you kind of not?
I'm for that. Like, if someone offered it to me, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I know Jack's the same. We spoke about this, and we just want to get back to it. Do I think it will work? Potentially, you know, but it depends. Like, I think if we was allowed to do it maybe like a month ago, then there'd be a lot of eyes on it. But with plans for like pubs and stuff to open back up, it's literally everything other than like shows will be going on. Yeah. So people will have other stuff to do again soon. So will they start watching stuff online? Possibly, if they're like still hardcore wrestling. I also feel though you've got it on such a good level, and there's a lot of that. Like, you've got AEW and WWE doing it, and if, for instance, there's like what Will done. I'm not sure. Yeah, the show that Will done. They've got, if you're going to have that sort of level stuff, I feel if that's going to happen, it's going to have everyone. I know in general everyone's going to have even when you've got live crowds, everyone's got to do something special to get an audience. But I feel like with everything in such like a tap, you know, like for instance, if you just rather than just going to your local show, you can watch shows from all over the place. So it's not like. So hopefully it'd work, but hopefully we can just get back to shows. Like, when I say to people, oh, I think maybe October, I get laughed at. And then other people, like, I know, like, there are people advertising for like July. Like, I saw there was a show that was, and I'm like, and you know, so I say October. Some people are saying January. I don't know. I'm just thinking like it's a strange one. I think with mass gatherings and that, the only real thing, I guess, that we can base it off of is how people are like with the protests, because that's a mass gathering. So if it spikes, after all of this, after the protests.
Yeah, we could have another wave.
We could have another wave. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's the protests' fault, I just think it's just general, like, people are going to be, that's the only example at the moment we have of these mass gatherings. But then again, I don't know, because, like, when this all started, I remember people saying, oh, millions of people are going to die. It's going to be millions. And it's been 6 months and we haven't even hit 500,000 worldwide. So I do think it was drastically, like, I think people have done really well with the social distancing and with the lockdown, because worldwide haven't even hit 500,000 when top scientists were predicting millions dead. So I'm trying to be positive with it. I go on Facebook and everything's negative about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, just want the pub open," and I just unfriend those people straight away, because I'm like, but yeah.
No, I get you.
So hopefully, I want to be ready to be back as soon as we're allowed to be back. Is what I'm trying to get across. Like.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is at the moment, I've not really known of too many UK promotions in and around the UK that have had to close or shut down due to this at present time, which is good.
I think it's something you asked me before about Triumph. Remember you saying, is Triumph going to come back? And I remember being a bit like head scratching that you asked that, because I think, well, it's one of those things. It's like, we're not losing any money. It's not like we've got, and that's a great thing about indies.
Yeah,
is that fair enough? It sucks for the boys, but for the promotions, the pros of the promotions is I don't have to pay all the Triumph boys for the shows that have been cancelled. Like, if a show got cancelled and everyone was contracted, you don't have to furlough wrestlers. It's just the show's not happening, so there's no work for people. Yeah. But, so for the promotion, like, Triumph's not losing money. Like, Taylor Essex is losing money. From there's no shows, but Triumph is just sort of chill, sitting there, ready to kick back up when everything else does. So it's that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and unless I've heard of some promotions where they booked out like so many venues through the year, and then they couldn't get their money back and stuff that they've had problems.
So we had 2 deposits paid for 2 shows, and then there's one that was a verbal agreement, ready to pay, but. Which is fine, because I know, for instance, the venue we've got the 2 deposits paid, they'll just transfer to the next 2, because that happened before. We had to unfortunately cancel the show last October due to some like craziness going on. We had to cancel that, and they just transferred our deposit to the next show. So the only money we actually lost was money we spent on posters. Right. Sucks again. In April we lost money on posters, but that same deposit will now transfer to the October date that we have, and then the other one that we paid for October date will just transfer to the new date that we'll pick for after October. But that's if we can do that, and that's really cool. And the other one, which is the venue that we started at, they're so nice. Like, they're so helpful and everything. Like, we pay a set price for so many hours, but then they called me like a couple of weeks before and be like, oh, the people that are in the day you are, they're leaving at this time, so I know you've paid from this time, but you can come in early and set up. So they're really chill, so I can't see us having a problem with them. But I know some promoters aren't as lucky, and I know a lot of places are like, no, we're a business, we need to save money. Like, my wedding is sort of getting a bit crazy. We're planning this wedding for October, sort of hoping that we can't do it, because it's one of those things we can't. Like, my fiance is trying to get her like dress sorted, and there's no one making dresses. I've got to now go find, me and all the boys have got to go get suits, but it's like we can't go anywhere to get these suits. Crazy things like that, and even little things like, I'm worried. People are worried, like, oh, is my nan going to be able? My nan and granddad are like mid-70s. Are they going to want to come? Obviously, they're going to want to come, but I don't really want to put them in front of like 100 odd people, because they're like, it's 70 years old. Yeah, you know what I mean? 75 years old. And obviously, I don't want to get married without my nan being there. You know, like, so it's. But the venue were like, nope, legally, you have to. Legally, it's not been cancelled, so go ahead or lose your money. So I guess that's the same with venues for wrestling shows booked in. So it's just, try and be positive, I guess.
It's been good talking to you, though, my friend. Catching up with you. We've
talking for ages now.
Covered a lot of grounds today, I feel, in and around. So especially on the console. Certainly giving a lot of recommendations there. Let's see what comes back. Flooding emails come back from that one. Just for all my listeners, where can they hit you up and also find Triumph Wrestling as well?
So the best places for me is probably Instagram, and that is just get my @ name up now. So that's at Taylor _Essex 450.
Nice.
I have Facebook and Twitter, but I don't really use them much. I only use Facebook for my personal one. Yeah, and then Triumph is on all three, and we have someone who runs all the social medias for them that isn't me, because I'm all for social media, to be fair. And they cover all the bases on there, so it's just under Triumph Pro Wrestling on all of them.
Nice. I'll stick in all the links on the description anyway, so guys will see it there. No worries, my friend, and hopefully, I know I said this last time, but hopefully the next time we speak, we will be in person, and let's hope so. Obviously, I see Jack, which is when we mentioned Jack Torino on the podcast, that is Taylor Essex's tag team partner, the Rebellion. Yes. He literally lives another road away from me that I never knew about up until this point, and now I've started to see him a little bit more often walking the dog. So
that dog has saved him for this lockdown. He is getting crazy bored, and he's just said. I think he said to me the other day, he's like, Blue's not walked as much in these last 5 months than he ever has before. So
now knows the whole of the area now.
Yeah, he can probably navigate the whole area or just off by heart, that dog.
Yeah, thank you again, my friend.
That's right, no worries at all. Thanks so much for having me. You too.
Right,
see you later.
Take care.